OKFM 101.7.
Ora Atik Mohammed, a convener, mass action for sustainable development in Africa. I think me watching. I think me watching. Na boko die. Bibia kama pa. Sa illegal mining ho nsensem yi a ate se ewu wiase. Mo di statement ya ba na mo kire ne se edien.
Me that say, Nedi Kamamincha, Unamincha, Uchi for him. On the mass action for sustainable development in Africa, Jumakovia is Potokesamunasi is a civil society organization. And we focus on themes and working themes like good economic and democratic governance and issues to do with sustainable development. About issues of sustainable development, mining any the exploitation of mineral resources, idea, Galamsey we idea, now, what them say, and before 1989, there was no law regarding small scale mining. There need small scale mining. So, PNDC law 218, and you can say that brought small scale mining into the fold. Can you not a large scale mining one and but artisanal mining, even before large scale mining, artisanal mining and artisanal mining are not Ghana for years. But when we became independent and yes, formally, exploiters are good enough away from no. Then NSAS here eddy licenses, large scale mining for say omuntu sa agudino. But after a while, no, they say we share artisanal and small scale mining. I did have any years, no. Uko ama baby omo agudino. Small scale miners and artisanal miners, no. Omuna omodoso. Yes, so that the way I see Galamsey was reskilling as if for no. Yenyamra, Tenebea, a bit me Ghana 4 coin, your muntimin large scale mining, no. So the Musum bit me ISM, no, and artisanal and small scale mining, no. And a PNDC law 218 a buyer. Now, you cut small scale mining, and artisanal and small scale mining, and your mining, ye excavators, two form. A mining, ye using rudimentary implements. Sebi, to say shovels, axes, a pickaxe, nails, and yamano. And those are the implements that ye small scale mining and artisanal mining. Again, we share idea ye defining as small scale mining and artisanal mining. No? The production levels, and ye idea yet produce beyond 50,000 tons of gold annually. But say, see, I mean, say. Idea your friend with small scale mining, no. Yet the excavators in a rim. Yet the machines are a rim. And we lost the definition of small scale mining. The very minute I have coin Emma Nkofukra yet the licenses more small scale mining. Using machines are that was when and one as our problem started here. Time I know issue excavators, issue machines are no. Not that problem, see a Galamsey Edia brain, then you. And that is the first point. Say, to have allowed people to go beyond the scope of small scale mining, to go beyond the scope that's exploiting of mineral resources allowed by law. No, yes, Jama Nkrofu, that was where his problem no exact here. Now, secondly, Ocean Galamsey, Pempensoya Bedri. Look, our argument is that it's not because a rocket science and it is difficult to deal with. destruction, damage, Galamsey, Ayema, Young Forest, any water bodies, no. And yes, I bind him kuntia. But the fact is that government is not willing. They lack the commitment to deal with the issue of Galamsey, no. And when you mean here, I bind him in yes, no. The point is that there is complicity of officialdom. You can't say pennyfo ni bi eka ho bi a ye tu Galamsey yes say yen sas yes say yen forest any water bodies pepe na eka ho bi nti imagine people ese o enforce the law no onu emu na eye who is going to enforce the law and on whom what is here nti it is not surprising there we've seen inertia characterize the fight against Galamsey after 2020 all the politicians will they conform. Anytime women say election be the minimum, then they are more forceful. Mampini Akufo-Addo can say or the president grab two on the line and so on and so forth. Because all them say Ghana for would examine his actions. They would vote for him or otherwise based on Numabia Waye, including Galamsey. At the time, Galamsey was high on the agenda, just like a Nemria, a country, a very topical issue. And they realized that Ghana for Duana Ebuefu. So they had to say, look, yeah, but you see, and almost share, they were making progress. But they see an NCA, a relapse, and it's the political elite, some of them are not willing because they are active participants. What has yet? And again, this idea of still getting involved in the sale of lands, to conform person Galamsey, and you see idea a hygienic because not only do they sell, but they also become active and passive participants. Yet they are assassinating mouth.
Now, I take it. A brana sa excavators be wura small scale mining mu no. Na mrada ho. Ana ye den ne bae.
What say? Mbra bianca say because who share the definition of ASM no. And ma kwan say ye di sa machines akese no embeye. Nti mbra bia ma sa kwan say ye mfa sa machines akese no embeye sa adwuma no. What are there? But yen na ye ma kwan ma sa adwuma no ebaye. And that is what we say before in fact using excavators to do small scale mining a recent event a recent phenomenon no. Bra kwa me wonim Galamsey time aye to Galamsey say na ye no.
Oh, Debbie.
What are there? And then you say would the machines be wura forest mu now what to amna kesiye who saying that is not how Galamsey was done. Obia on him the history of small scale and artisanal mining. That's not how it was done. It's a recent phenomenon. The very minute
kasa.
the very minute ye started say ye di China for ni other foreigners ebe mu no Ghana for edi omo kwan say omo mbra no omo nim kwan a ye fa so edi tu ye can say agudie no that was the beginning of our problem. And a Ghana for do na so esha here edi some machines no and omo fa some fines and one other all kinds of machines and omo buy and one as that problem start here. And esha here no the political elite also found a way to profit from it. Anything I am to mean Kuntiano, Obia to say this is a fight I am to mean winning. There be and the argument say, look, there has to be sustained political commitment to the fight against Galamsey. That is the only way we can win. And we've also made some suggestions. Say, in the interim, what government needs to do is to cause a cessation of all ASM activities. Obia oil artisanal and small scale mining. This is abai but in the interim, no, you suspend this. Obia oil sajwani biya abai can say, why? We've done it before. We can do it. Abai can say everybody and anybody engaged in ASM. Yes, suspending more activities, no. And we suspend here. The next thing to do, our suggestion, well, we made that suggestion say there has to be a multi-stakeholder conference immediately on Kwanya Ayebe Faso Equity SRD with clear objects in mind. And you say, yeah, na ya beg Cabrofa to say, we should be having specific objects in mind. With
but
a few, now, we should be hoping to have actionable outcomes. What I say? Say, yes, people, CSOs, Beba, into who are into a Greek Beba, into who are into mining Beba, Obia, you bet to a drink, Quaya, you bet faso. And if, for example, at such a conference, the first suggestion Mazda probably would make is let's criminalize the use of excavators and such other machines in your kind of thing, in the activities of ASM. Because enuna every distraction no urban. Some machines are kesi, and once we criminalize the use of such huge machines in the exploitation of minerals at the small scale and artisanal level, Lydia, it's the first point. You bet me, Eddie Kutia Galamsey. And secondly, too, the penalty regime. Look, we have also made suggestions in the press list. The CJ should quickly set up specialized courts to deal with environmental and mining offenses. You see, Ghana, we have signed, we are a party, and we have ratified the Paris agreement. Agreement, Mama Bibri, Ako signed to fight against climate change. Now, we say mitigation efforts against climate change now. Galamsey is the singular activity, efforts, until we need to have environmental and mining offenses courts and mining courts. Senabaya, Obia or committee any offense with respect to mining. You didn't be calling your thing, didn't be for regular course soon. Check a whole Ubaya case, these are the special cases that are dealt with in the end. And beyond mining, Obia or ye Chakwe Juma what there are some places that answer say ye Nina environment, and there are other environmental offenses. So, and there was a course now. If we have this specialized course, now Obia or guarantee ye chinaba. Oh, in Tamara, na case me ye foreign a be ye galamsey. Na ye china. Another suggestion we'll be making is the penalty regime should not include deportation. Deportation is not a punishment. Nipani 7 term you are and the sentence you are. If the person is found guilty, not every you are. Then now what deporting. You don't say Nipana committee offense into the punishment say Mufanu Krum. Let the person say once the person is found to be guilty, let the person serve the sentence in a jail. Or we are no matter deporting account. What I say? These are actionable outcomes that we can expect from a conference like that. Then we can even say, look, if it requires legislation, let's amend our laws or even introduce new ones to make sure that Obia or you're guilty of, some of these mining offenses, Nipano, the best me dinako, like the person has to serve the sentence here in Ghana and Oya dinako. But we have had situations where it be the decades Nipano is guilty. All you hear and say, yeah, deported one. That's not the way to go. What I say, and generally speaking, Kwame, there is the urgent need for a review of the mining subsector. There are laws there, laws, even though we try to keep them at pace with changing trends, but there are numerous big that's what I say the count, and maybe what I say is free. And the ask call is that there has to be a comprehensive review of the entire sector, especially the laws governing the exploitation and management of revenues are a free sector no urban. What him say, we have, lithium has become a big deal, and other critical minerals because these are the minerals of the future. What was here? Global efforts towards decarbonization, the use of these minerals, at the heart of that green transition. I can no. And see, me, and manage these resources the way we did in the past. Can you know? Now, lithium will be by name because the demand for it was not as high as it is today. And I say to me, so a position to get the full benefits from Enono. And our argument is that we should even have a new fiscal regime. Maybe some management act to be specifically for minerals. Yenya oil, we came up with the NPRM, the National Petroleum Management Act. We need to have a similar arrangement. Ebe govern how we exploit the kind of lithium. And what was the lithium? It is sold on two levels. Maybe kind raw spodumene no. We sa spodumene na ultimate tomba and no value of them. But once you process it into lithium carbonate, and no na no bo e wasoro. But yenimra govern how that carbonate is sold. Yenimra say carbonate no once it is processed no. This is how much I buy as a film. This is the tax regime. This is the royalty. It's just a spodumene agreement now. Yeah, sign amount for April month of Messiah. It's just with respect to spodumene. Bon, we need to have comprehensive laws in the sector. And again, I specifically believe that the year review of the sector, no, the laws are SAD you can say ASM no, it should be stringent enough to deter people from engaging in the destruction of young forests. No, look, Obinya concession. These are the implements allowed in the exploitation of the mineral when you have a small scale mining concession or right, mineral right. Now, we should also have medium scale miners. So there are two extremes. Either you are doing small or artisanal mining, and now we are large scale mining.
Yeah.
There is no midway between the two. ABOB the capacity is bigger than small scale mining. But essence say it is either you do large scale or you do small scale. No. Until me large scale, until you say okoji concession bakuna. That we were artisanal miners CB akaho. Until the adjoining concession no yam farm man here. That yam farm man no. No odimwa be boom. No musu say in the kaho because he feels I have the capacity. I need to expand, but the law only gives me this small concession. Until my illegal miners see and the count no moon to be in count money. But if we had a medium scale mining arrangement now, and the concession no you bet same kakra not adequate supervision. You know, forestry for you made juma. To see a forestry commission, Omuka Galamsey successfully. Almost look, wholesome.
But me hunadie bi say 2022 one parliament pass mra bi na mra na mo pass ye no ma ho kwan say yen enter into our forest reserves no na yen koye eyi wo mutimi kotu bi asa mra no so eye adwuma.
Yes. That airline is one of the most ridiculous, most unpatriotic, and most dangerous airlines ever passed.
Why?
Oh, yes. Wow, how? Like I told you, I mean, do you want me to you? Then you know, yes, can climate change. What him said drought.
Because my me read here, regulation 2020 LI 2462. And the LI 2462, mining licenses may be granted in forest reserves with the exception of certain prohibited zones encompassing globally significant biodiversity areas, protected provinces, provenance, and then zones and cultural sites, albeit with exceptions. There's a ubetinya
oh, the Uko forestry. The committee even tells you that there are red zones. One. And they determine which areas are red zones. No. What was here? But they are saying that LI regulation it's beyond the red zones, no. Which new Bogra forest reserves, no. It was always, out of reserve mining and now ASM for a year. What is here? Now, LI in a man legal backing to the invasion of the forest. And we see Minister now, you want to see, he will go down as the worst ever Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Look, he is superintendent over the destruction of our forests and the growth of Galamsey. Or can we be in a Galamsey Yentimin Kuntia? Since Obaya, what is say why you be this to fight Galamsey? What be that?
How can I say me?
Mika Abujina Paul, the current minister for
Oh, why you
lands and natural resources.
bebre? Why you bebre? Na no kwa wo frɛ.
He said, yeah.
Te sɛ ye bɛhwɛ sɛ ye ni stakeholders ni bedi nkɔmɔ na no frɛ regional ministers.
You see. Kwame, ye kasa dia, Ghana had the amount for kasa o. Mika practical steps are what taking said this we are taking the fight to Galamsey. What to be that? And the una yet me we need fight need be you need be say no. I mean ukoya or buy I mean even on the democrat we started lapsing kakaka. Kobonu buy any the enough there's a free for all affair in the forest too. Yes, Kosa and he keeps giving leads. What was the Obaye? Or can say mining in forest reserves was suspended. So Bekaya or suspended. Ever saying now all of a sudden, a month for are going back and they've gone back and it's even worse than it was before. They say there's a free for all affair. Soldier for what was the last time?
When him mamima wade and I read the custodian government to inaugurate 50 more community mining schemes. Now when they are regulated.
Let me tell you, what are you talking about? That community mining is what gave legal license to people to even destroy the forest the more. Look, SARS community mining is one of the problems, and they felt that it was a solution to Galamsey. But indeed, it actually became a tool for politicians to exploit, to destroy the forest even more. When the Obia party Nibia Galamsey, yeah, they will just say, oh, yeah, man, yeah, more my community mining. Obia person, you can appoint Bia person or two Galamsey, as yeah, man, community mining. That has become the legal cover for Galamsey. Oh, and look, you see, policy BR was cycle. Start BR. After implementation, you do monitoring and you evaluate to see the efficiency of that policy. You know, if policy is not achieving the desired objects now, so it came since they started community mining. Galamsey has moved from bad to west, and that is the model. Galamsey, the new model is called community mining. What has here? Obi operator to Galamsey, BIZU, Mao concession in the name of community mining. Now that's the model. They say I am friend of Galamsey, you're friend of community mining. And you keep inaugurating these destructive groups called community mining groups. Almost to Galamsey. And you say, why are they? Why? Since Oba can be built from Kuchiremi, why, yeah. That really was meant to preserve our forests, avoid your kind of thing, and stop the distraction.
Oh, what training river guards na nkomo ba be nsuo no, but only said say they had banter with the Ministry of Defense. If say Ministry of Defense what can say it lies within their ambit. It is ma river guards no kra to protect our water bodies near the adena.
You see, you measure performance with outcomes, not intentions, not you kind of saying that paper. So, dear na why and who outcome ni, and when I can was a meal. Since Obaye after 2020, a dear na why let's what are the outcomes? The outcomes are that Galamsey has now become a threat to our very survival, and he is superintendent over that. Why? Ministers came before him. We saw the efforts they put in. Onuba, he gives. Are you telling me that he has stopped granting mineral rights? He's giving licenses to people to go and do mining in forest reserved areas. Forest reserves amount for 8 legitimate licenses to go and mine. What has here? Yeah, mass scale have been given. And that is all that, in my view, he is interested in granting of more licenses. But the fight against Galamsey, making sure that, look, even as we exploit, I can say, a good year from we don't compromise our survival, our existence as a people. No? And no means that down. And that's why I'm saying that you go down in history as the worst ever. We need to have an audit, a forest audit of before and after Minister Biawa or Basa Ministry Honono. And I dare tell you, sir, if you do some environmental audit, and a forest audit, you would realize that the destruction has been occasioned to the forest environment, is much, 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 much worse and severe than it has ever been. If you cannot tell me, sir, he's a performing minister when the outcomes don't match, what does he? See, when all others are calling, Matisa TC4 also are making the call that there should be cessation of all ASM activities. Do you see the response they brought? He did not say, oh, yeah, all they said is that they will speak to the regional ministers, municipal executives, and metropolitan chief executives, any district chief executives, to intensify their efforts. Still, that is the response Abu Jinapo has brought. On can say, oh, given the extent of distraction, will halt their activities. What can say, they will tell the regional ministers and MMDCs, to heighten or intensify their efforts. Now, the point, and that there are already existing schemes that are meant to fight Galamsey. It's not schemes were effective, but sometimes could do happen way. So it's not even beyond the fact that it's not performing. He's not even listening. If the consensus among the Ghanaian public says, idea the immediate solution is to cease all activities of ASM. Who the response is the regional ministers and MMDCs. So all along you knew they were sleeping. If you are saying they should intensify their efforts, it is an admission that you know very well that their efforts were not intensive enough. And secondly, they are proving to be ineffective. So if you're thinking your solution is to go back to the very ineffective ways, it tells you that he's not even determined to fight Galamsey. Because Obi already determined, serious to fight it. Your first step will not be to be telling people to go and revisit what they were doing earlier. Meaning, I wouldn't say no matter, and you're asking them to go back to Nyamana and for which reason you could do something. I feel that it's a multifaceted fight. And I'm on this occasion, my main we need to have all other paramount sisters. You can say goals in their jurisdictions, to adopt similar you can say approaches. Say once there are chiefs under you, now you find out that the chiefs are complicit in the perpetration of this menace, you deal with them. And like I said, such specialized courts, but one of the suggestions we will be making if we ever have that conference will be that look, the National House of Chiefs is a multi-stakeholder kind of fight. You have the National House of Chiefs, Regional Houses of Chiefs, Chief Bia, you who say he's complicit or is found guilty. Beyond the fact that the Regional House of Chiefs should be empowered to be able to distill all. Look, they should be able to take that title away from Nippon. You would know what to me or Hini Edisulino. In some other areas, it's a bit nuanced. Oh, in such situations, we should be able to empower regional houses of chiefs, national houses of chiefs, or the chieftaincy institution to self-correct some of these erring chiefs. To Galamsey, there should be a way. If they are found guilty in these specialized courts, I suggest there should be an arrangement to distill them. Even though I know that once you come here, automatically in many traditions, you lose your A. But in some cases, even if the person does not stand trial, but it is established that he facilitates the commission of this Galamsey crime. I say to me, so once people begin to realize that there are consequences to some of these actions, Emma Galamsey survived. Me GDN say will get to a certain point. And look, and found an independent politician and also a politician. But he has no, it's colorblind though. Until you now a politician.
Okay.
Now we're a politician, now we're consenting, now the microphone too so. There should be a way to look. Me, my argument is the Attorney General, A. Nadine said, they are going to be committed to this process. we'll get some results. Yes, me see maybe people with lesser offenses. You can have a deal with them. Say, look, if you tell us nipa a higher no concession no ankasa no odi mo ba no, maybe have you can say what's the legal term? Maybe a deal can be arranged.
Yeah, a prosecution witness.
Yes, very good. What are there? That is the only way we can get the big fishes. What are there? Because a bit more, they are just artisans. Omu yedi omu abegu ose omunye. Until which omu we say they've committed crimes. But the bigger fish, you know, so they are the ones we should be fishing for. And I'm sure they say, hey, I just say, be Jumaya. It is something that is winnable. And you're rocket science.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say, Anope. Basically, I say, Atik Mohammed, a convener, mass action for sustainable development in Africa. And I think, okay, 101.7.
OKFM 101.7.